thought when he talked about the things he wanted to criticize Barack Obama about, he said, I have called audiences on things, I have corrected people. You remember Carter saying, no, he is not an Arab, he is a fine man, he's a senator, that sort of thing. But I think it's very important to show passion and for him to be on offense. So if politics, you're on offense or you're on defense. You're on offense or you're on defense. He was on offense, Obama was on defense.
The focus groups did go down, though, whenever it got very nasty.
It always goes down when you draw a difference with your opponents. Those are the rules. But guess what? Sometimes it's important. And tonight, Senator McCain was on offense on the economy. He was scoring points and had Barack Obama on defense on the economy. Big spending in Washington, taxes, Joe the plumber. I thought David Axelrod is pulling his hair out tonight. I thought his candidate had his worst debate, his flattest debate, professorial, I think as Bill Bennett said. McCain was, I thought, aggressive and eloquent on the economy, the number one issue. It's enough to get him back in the race.
But here's the deal. In terms of McCain came out very strong. But the reality is, when you came to pocketbook issues, Obama scored well health care. Numbers off the charts. Scored well education. McCain was sort of in the middle. The reality is, McCain, where he failed was when he spent more time talking about John Lewis and wanting an apology and trying to explain what it's going to do for the American people. Well, first of all, call John Lewis if he wants an apology. So the reality is, because the bottom line is here, if you want to be president, talk to the American people. That's where I think he failed tonight. In that portion right there, he could have had an extrememely strong night. He spent far too much time on Ayers and John Lewis.
For himself, I think, is the important part. I also agree that McCain came out strong. Senator Obama was on defense for the first 20 minutes of this debate. But what happened was McCain then ruined it for himself. Because when you're making a contrast, you can go negative. When you're attacking on tax policy, you can go negative. But it was Senator McCain who prolonged the discussion about Bill Ayers and about John Lewis and the palling around with terrorists. He was the one who dragged himself down, and that, I think, gave Obama the chance to come back strong on issues that people care about.
He was happy to talk about anything. He was pleased to talk about anything.
To cover this campaign on a daily basis, how do you think they did? I mean, what did you see tonight that you haven't seen or have heard plenty of times before? Candy?
I would agree this was not Obama's best debate. But he got across what he wanted to get across. I can tell you right now that his advisors think that the angry moment that you were talking about will be exactly what they will focus on. Oh, John McCain's an angry guy, and it will be that, 5-9 minutes worth. I mean, they're already talking about it, so that's where they're going to go.
You know, John McCain finally got to say tonight, I am not George W. Bush, and that, that's the line.
His best line.
That was his best line. That's the line he's been waiting to say, and he finally got it out there. My problem on substance, Anderson, honestly, was John McCain said he can still balance the budget in 4 years. I have absolutely no idea how he is going to do that. The answer is he can't do that. But on the other hand, Barack Obama couldn't bring himself to say just what he would cut either. So I don't think we got any straight talk from these guys on it.
It was by far McCain's best performance of the 3 debates. Did he win this one? Did he lose this one? I'll leave that to others to score who won the debate. But it was by far McCain's most aggressive, assertive. He had points for what he was saying. He was trying to connect the dots. And to Alex's point, he was spending as much time as he could until the diversionary stuff, and I think what we all agree most people probably don't care that much about, but pressing his economic argument. And the key people out there, as Paul noted, are independents. Now, why are you independent? Because you don't want to belong to either party. If you don't want to belong to the Democratic Party and you're an independent, it's because you do worry that they spend too much money or that they will raise your taxes. If you're talking about the economic issue, some independents think maybe the Democrats are too soft on national security. But McCain going after the spending argument, the taxes argument, was effective to try to reach those independents. You meet them when you travel the country. A missed opportunity was perhaps to make the point that I think some over at that table have made on the right side of the equation, in that some independents do bring up the issue of Pelosi, Reid, and Obama, a full Democratic government, and McCain missed that opportunity.
For the first time in practically the whole campaign, and certainly the first time in the debates, we heard about the future of the United States Supreme Court. That is going to be a crucial issue, and we also heard about abortion.
And a very clear difference between the two.
Very clear difference, and I think, this is an issue where I thought Obama gave a very good pro-choice answer. He gave the best rationale for that position, and most swing voters are
But he
pro-choice.
spent way too.
But the fact
He
is,
spent
but
way
he
too.
didn't tell
He
the truth
spent.
about
He
Chicago.
spent way too much time on it. Okay. If you saw McCain's initial answer, he simply stuck to strict construction is I want to choose the right judges. It was Obama who chose to go into a more deep conversation on abortion, which then opened the door. It made no sense. Bottom line is you stick to the question as opposed to get into the overarching debate about abortion. It doesn't help you.
When he got into Chicago, he did not tell the truth about what he did as state senator.
We got to take a short break. Our coverage continues. We're going to have a lot more on this post-debate edition of 360. As we go to breaks all throughout this, we're going to show you some of the key moments from tonight's debate. So if you missed any of it, we're going to show you probably the most important exchanges that we witnessed over the last 90 minutes or so. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Also, CNNPolitics.com. Check us out online.